What's up, y'all? This is your boy Gerald. It is Wednesday, the 14th of September, 2016. How is everybody doing? You're halfway through your week, y'all. Hump day, hump day, hump day. That's right. So, I wanted to change it up, y'all, because I saw something a couple days ago that I wanted to see if you saw this too, and see that there's a deeper or bigger picture being presented for us all as a society. So the other day, I happened to be in our, some people call it Wally World, because you see some crazy people walking in Walmart, right? So I had to go up to Walmart and grab something. And while I was walking around, I decided to go and go through where the electronics is, because I am more or less a gear and gadget type of guy. I've always been that way because I've always had a desire to look at things from the mechanical side and just the awe of what is being displayed or presented for us, the consumer. But what I noticed when I was walking through the aisles, gotta hit the clearance rack, see, because my music hit first, and I'm looking around and I'm making my way through, and I come over there to where the laptops and tablets were. But what struck me this go around was they had made a display for kid-friendly tablets. You're saying, well, Gerald, that's nothing new. That ain't nothing but tablets and laptops that had the adult application or parental controls already there for your option to in place. But this was different, y'all, because it's also made me think about, well, I've seen this before, but how? And as I started to look around, and they looked, virtuality was very similar to the ones that we use day to day, but it was watered down. And then it clicked. I said, well, you know what? Now I understand why the company like VTech is in business. Because, see, companies such as that knew that they would have a target audience. It was just a matter of time, y'all, before what their product or brand stood for would finally come to the forefront. So you may be wondering, Joe, what do you mean? What do you mean? In a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you. Have you looked at the curriculum and the syllabus structuring for your children's education? Have you noticed last year, maybe a year before, they said, well, hey, we're going to go ahead and restructure the math and how the math is done. And then there were those such as us, our generation extras, and those before my generation. We were taught a certain way. But it makes sense. It makes sense today now, to me, why they decided to do so. Because, see, what's going on now, y'all, socially, there is a restructuring or a preparation going on for your child. Who am I talking to? Do you understand what's going on, y'all? See, this is the blessing and the curse, because what is about to be displayed through our generations, through your era, you're starting to see the formation of the social division. No different than you heard it before, the haves and the have-nots. Because, see, now, what is going on? Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. See, everything's about tech. Everything's about tech. While you turn around, going to spend $160 on some earbuds for your cell phone. Why are you going to do that? Why are you going to do that? A real person doesn't wear their wealth. They invest it. That's for somebody. So I've always had a knack, like I said, on ingenuity and what was cutting edge. But I also realized something too. Because see, socially, the playing field has to be restructured. And the target audience is your child. That's right. Yes, yes. See, I remember 10 years ago, almost 15 years ago, when I first saw it, I remember seeing a story of little three-year-olds being taught on tablets. They were already wearing their little school uniforms at 3, and they were learning their education at age 3. But see, that doesn't surprise me at all, because this is a practice that has always been evident, but we don't understand that you're really tapping in muscle memory too. Because think about it, every time you turn around, before anything can have an action, you must have a behavior, and before you have that behavior, you must have a pattern. Before that pattern, it must be a thought. And before that thought, there must be a word. So you have to also look at it from the least level. What is the influence? How did that influence become? Is that influence positive? Is that influence a means of control? How about manipulation? How about your perception? Because if you're able to do all those things in succession, guess what? You have someone doing exactly as you require. See, y'all, that is the foundation of consumerism. It also makes a slave too. I know that someone said, well, why'd you say that, Joe? It all ties in. It all ties in. And I'll explain. See, let's go back to that the other day when I was walking to Walmart and I saw these kid-friendly tablets. See, I don't know about where you live at, but I know here, they've already said, hey, look, for us to educate your child's going to have a tablet. Now, here's the pros and cons on this. I know this is also validation for me too, because see, what y'all don't know is approximately 5 years ago, we had at that time Governor Bob McDonnell, right? I at that time was in a relationship where the person that I was involved with, their child, and which I loved as my own, they went to a brand new school, spent millions of dollars on this school. But I noticed there was a serious problem. The school had everything except one thing, and that was books. They didn't have enough books for every student, so the student had to share with another student. Now, I know from some of y'all, you're like, well, Joe, that's how it used to be back in the day for us. I remember that too. I remember that you came into the class and all the books were in the front of the classroom or in the back of the classroom, and when you came in, you'd grab that book, you had your notebook, and you were required to take notes. But see, I also understand no matter how well intended that instructor was, that educator was, what was deemed overlooked was, what about little Susie who has a reading disability? What about little Johnny that has an attention deficit problem? You know what the solution was for those, or the answer for those cases was, well, you know what? They're special needs. No, they weren't special needs. They never was. They needed reinforcement to strengthen where they were weak. See, it was too deemed. It was too easy to just write off little Bobby and little Susie to go to the special educational class down the hall, because guess what? They did less work there. And actually, they just blew the time, and they were pretty much being babysat. But what they didn't realize was, by practicing that, you are also molding not only the way that they saw life and the perceptions of how they were going to live it. And that is the effect in a lot of the adults that we have today. Because you have a lot of people that have a mindset of, well, if life doesn't come easy, I don't want to even contribute. I don't want to even participate. And they shut down. They become what some would call needy. But really what actually is happening is that is a person saying, hey, look here, I need a little bit more focus on it. I do need some help, but I don't know how I can communicate that. And that's the problem with the world today. You have a whole lot of people that need requirements, but do not know how to communicate their thoughts. And maybe because it is because of fear of social acceptance or lack thereof, requirement for being validated. How about being acknowledged that you exist? Because, see, back in the day, you couldn't understand what was going on in little Billy's house, because back in the day, you had a lot of supporters. You had a lot of parents that were raised by their parents that said, what goes on in my house stays in my house. Who am I talking to? And in turn, you didn't know if that child was being held hostage emotionally. Or how about being neglected? Just you just come through the door, and because the fact that I don't have a relationship with your father or your mother, I'm just going to hold on to you. I'm going to hold on to you because you're a paycheck to me. That's it. And I'm going to do the bare minimum. I remember someone said once, well, you know, I'm not required to give you everything. I'm only required to give you a roof over your head, clothes on your back, and food in your stomach. Now, all those are true statements. But some people literally took that to heart. And you could tell. You could tell when that child was disfranchised. You could tell when that child was neglected. You could see it through their behavior. Sometimes the greatest action of communication is not. Why do you think little Susie's acting out now? Why do you think little Bobby is running around like a little alien? Because for some reason they thought they were in prison. They think that they were being furloughed and displayed like a trophy and only be put back on the shelf known as their room. Oh, gotta have the good clothes on when the company comes. But when everybody else is gone, the hell continues. Now, I'm just saying that because this happens every day. But now, you add technology, you add guidance and structure of people that do not have children, so therefore they cannot be empathetic to the plight of parenting. You add in the fact that you have guidelines and structures that do not protect the non-custodial parent. Because there's plenty of good fathers out there that want nothing more than be with their children. Nothing more, because they know the reality of what that is not instilled in them or instilled in them will be the lessons that their child will go through. They will be disenfranchised, violated, only to repeat the cycle until the healing has taken place. What? But that's what people do right there, right? And that's what happens every day. So let's look at it from a different perspective. So now, society says, look here, we need a new type of workforce. We need to make sure that everyone has a ground level of understanding, because where we're going, you have to have a certain aptitude. So what about Johnny that can't read? What about Sarah that has emotional hangups and it's preventing her from focusing? But in actuality, she has a passion for education, but she has less than support in her home. What if the environment that she's reared in cannot support her like they should? Hold that thought, y'all. Go in your kennel. Go. So you can't see Tyson. Go in your kennel. Be right back. Now, there's a reason why I'm bringing all this up, y'all. There is a reason. Because I know a lot of y'all might not be aware of what's going on. And the thing is, society has made it it's going hand in hand with consumerism. And here's the funny thing about it. You also have some that are kind of upset about it because they're saying, well, why are you revealing this now when I've spent my time, my money to educate my children so they don't fall in that play? See, the private schools know. Yes, they do. They've known this the whole time. Why do you think people go to private schools, y'all? Do you think it's because of the caliber of the education? No. That's part of it. But it's also it's also to indoctrinate the child to have a certain perception of life and standards. But guess what? Because society now has a deficiency across the board. Now they're saying, well, guess what? The days of the blue-collar worker will be non-existent in the next 30 years. That's why you're seeing now more than ever, y'all. You got these upsprout colleges everywhere. That's why everybody in academia, especially in regards to college, everybody's got an online campus. You know why? Number one is government funding. Can't get money unless you got people that are attending the college. Got to have the enrollment levels. Got to make sure that you get the support. You don't believe me? Look at what's going on now with those people that have to deal with the campus shutting down. those who were pursuing their education through ICT? How about those who were attending their degree at Phoenix? When's the last time you seen a Phoenix University commercial? When's the last time you seen one? Hmm? There's a reason why they're doing this, y'all. At the end of the day, you would never have a college or a university without government influence. How about government money? No government money? Yes, you have the alumni support. Yeah, you'll have that, but that only sustains for so long. And that's what separates the economic structure, too. You think you're going to have people that attend Princeton and Yale and MIT standing in an unemployment line? Can it happen? Very much can. But the likelihood is none. So let's look at that from a trickle-down level, right? Now, they're making it very obvious. You need to either educate yourself, get on board, because you're responsible for your education. And you're noticing that your education level will also coincide with your economical growth. So now, let's go back to Walmart. See, Walmart has always had people look at direction. Because at the end of the day, it's about that dollar too. Oh yeah, they're going to provide. They're going to make sure they provide for you. But at the end of the day, if dollars don't make sense, they don't waste time. And haven't you noticed the campaigning online as well as through all media? Walmart's banner's there. Why? Because Walmart knows that they are going to be a heavy hitter in the economic development in the next 20 years. And some of y'all already know that. And they're going to continue to do that until they pretty much monopolize all retail. That's the ultimate goal. And as you know, you're seeing a lot of people now, a lot of money is spent online. Why? Because they know it's convenient, it saves them time, but it saves them money. No longer the day of going to 4 or 5 stores looking for a particular item when you can just, at a keystroke, find it right here. How about have it delivered to your door? Mm-hmm. And that's what's going on. So let's go back to the main point. So now, you're seeing a resurgence you're seeing a resurgence to restructure education as we know it, y'all. There is a deliberate formation of how your child will be educated. Now, I don't know about where you live at, but I can say here in Virginia Beach, in Hampton Roads, the 7 cities, the syllabus for the high schools have been restructured. Yes, you have the AP classes where your child will start taking community college courses, which will be accredited and then be used when they complete their high school diploma, as well as the type of diploma that they receive will also depend on the type of opportunity that they will be afforded as well, which actually, at the end of the day, does what? It corresponds to money and potential money that you will spend as a consumer. Why? Because your cash register is right here. So let's go back to little Johnny. Little Johnny is going to the 3rd grade. The days of taking the little piece of paper with the solid lines and the broken lines in between and learning your cursive. They're not focusing on cursive writing now. Why is that? Because they want Johnny to know what a QWERTY keyboard looks like. Why? Because they know without having a level of computer skills, computer understanding, you are already behind the curve. So does it surprise you within the last 7 years there's been an explosion or a pandemic to push tech on our society. Do you actually think it's surprising the last 3 years they were pushing 55-inch TVs out the window so that anybody can get it at the cut rate price? Why? Because they also know in the future that smart TV is going to do things more than you can imagine. And some of y'all already know. They started down a long time ago. Remember web TV? That was just the prototype. Now, they've got technology that they're tweaking right now, and in the next couple of years, they're gonna push out that you're gonna have to have pretty much an associate degree to be able to work it, but it is going to also intertwine your household. Why do you think we have smart TVs with smart tech houses? Well, guess what? This thing a lot of people are failing to realize, they need people to fix these things. So you're going to have a level of understanding to be able to communicate with the device. Now, how does that affect us in a bigger scale? The blue collar worker is going to disappear. You're going to see an influx of engineer type jobs, or better yet, certifications, because anybody in the IT field knows this already. It's great to have the sheepskin, but it means nothing if you don't have the certs. The more certs you make, the more money you have in your pocket. So guess what? It is now time to expose that to your child. Now, here's the problem with that. When one hand giveth, one hand taketh away. Already Google has already incorporated Google in the classroom. So guess what? If I turn around and I'm teaching, I'm using that as a tool, and little Johnny that knows nothing about the internet, and I'm exposing them from the basic level, guess what? They also will have a relationship with the operating system that's produced. Because guess what? There's the logo. So now you're building a brand loyalty there. No different than Levi jeans. Levi jeans have been around for over 150 years. But everybody knows what a pair of Levi jeans is, no doubt. Same thing. So let's go back to those who have shelled out the money to send little Susie to that top rate school known as private. Well, see, they were already indoctrinating these children a long time ago. And the level of education that they were being exposed to was much higher, more in-depth than public school. Why? Because public school was the bare minimum. As long as you know how to spell your name, sign it on the line, that's all that's required. But see, you know the difference between private school and public school back then? Private school also pushed this. We're going to educate your child to be the employer, not the employee. Who am I talking to? Does it surprise you to see little Johnny Singh? He's that kid that always makes the honor roll. Yes, he's kind of introverted to a degree, but when it comes to the things that matter, which is his education, he stands above the rest, continuously, consistently. Why? Because Johnny's parents told him a long time ago, you're going to work for someone? Sure. Work for them long enough so you can buy the company. Work with them, learn what it takes to do the job, master it, and then control it. They know that. Same thing with non-minorities. It's the same. Yes, you can work there, but work there long enough to master it, to buy it. So what is going on now? You're seeing a lot of people, you're seeing STEM schools be implemented in your area now. And it kind of takes a damper from charter schools. It also takes a damper from private schools too, because the focus now is more tech. So it kind of, if you're spending all this money to send little Shasha to these schools, to this private school, but you got a STEM school over here that says, well, guess what? That logo on that sheet of paper is one thing, but what we want is the GPA. Guess what? The GPA is going to build. It's going to win every time. And that's the direction. So I noticed that you've got kid-friendly technology out there now, right? But you do understand that with education, just like that child, they will grow into the next phase. So you got that little child that is in the 3rd grade, learning how to punch the keys. By the time they graduate out of high school, through natural progression, they'll be able to fix it. But see, that was something I knew a long time ago too, because it was very evident when I explained. The mind is very powerful, and the mind is required to be challenged, because that's what defines your reality. That is also which gives the contrast of your critical thinking as well. Oh, yes, it does. And that's what will separate you from those who have compared to those who don't. Because see, where you're headed is blessed. But you got to put the work in, y'all. You got to put the work in. So don't get caught up because your child speaks a language that you can't understand. It should challenge you to meet them at the level that they're on. Because if not, you will also take the placement like so many before. Because you do understand there are adults now, still today, that don't have a cell phone, never been on a laptop, never been on the internet. So don't you think that has an impact on your economic decision making? Oh yes, y'all. This is deliberate, because in turn, this is going to also, as I said, promote brand loyalty as well as consumerism. Oh yeah, they know that. They know that. Come on now. One hand giveth, one hand taketh away. Even here on social media. Because see, we'll never own the service provider. You might own the device, but guess what? The moment that they said it was brand new and you bought it, guess what? Really, it was old. That's old tech. It just now has found its way to be purchased or consumed. So if you got everybody marching to the same beat, you're going to have some people that are going to miss that. You're going to have some people that are going to deliberately be defiant too. I mean, think about it. We got vehicles that have no control brakes, self-starting cars, Wi-Fi. Do you not see the connection? It's the computer, y'all. If you can't communicate with the computer, how can you navigate? It becomes a tool, but it also can become a shackle too. Oh yeah, oh yeah. But keep this in mind. You're a parent first. This is only a tool, an extension of who you are. It means nothing unless you use it. Or is it using you? So I was just kind of curious, y'all. I was just like, have y'all noticed? Have y'all noticed? You notice? Look at little Johnny. Everything is setting up a bigger picture. The backpacks now for the little ones have a laptop slot in it. Why is that? Because they are grooming them one tweak at a time. Just be ready for the curve when it comes. It's not a bad thing. But if you don't know what's going on, it's just become, you just become the slave. So, you're halfway through your week, y'all. Yes, you are. I hope you are sidestepping the negativity, grounding your feet, speaking your truth, because guess what, y'all? There's only one you. And I want you to be happy. I want you to be blessed. But I would be wrong. I'd be wrong if I didn't put this out there, though. Because they're blatantly pushing so much smart technology out there. There's also a dark side out there. Oh, yeah. Because you have those, like they say, I don't mind this the devil's workshop. Guess what? Predators are getting younger. And they're getting more smarter. Like why you hear people say, you're smart for no damn reason. Got no common sense. And usually that's what happens too. Those people are also the same people that do not have a relationship with themselves. They don't have a relationship with themselves because they're too distracted to what's going on outside or the perception of what's going on outside their door. And they don't realize that they're not protecting themselves. Because you do know, put it this way. Why would Chris Hansen have a job? You know, Chris Hansen, the reporter from Dateline. He knows what's going on. He sees it. You do too. So remember, one of the greatest gifts and responsibilities you'll ever have is being a parent. That means do what is required to protect your children from themselves if need be. Since society has become too PC and said, well, you can't say this and can't do that. Well, guess what? I'd rather have a record than have to go bury my child. And if that means I have to save you from you, I'm going to do it. Especially as a man, as a father. It's your business to get in their business. And if you turn around and you think, well, you know what? Yeah, I'll raise them. No, you're not. By shoving a game controller in their face and letting them eat processed food all the time, and you wonder why Johnny's 50 pounds overweight. You might as well have said, I was the reason why you're a diabetic now. Because you're failing them. You're failing them because you're failing you. And guess what? Society knows that. And while you're too busy being predisposed, they're luring your children from you, from the keyboard. How about that internet president? 2016, y'all. We still got sex trafficking going on. Still got runaways going on. Why? Because somebody's blowing them out the house. You know what your daughter's doing right now? You know where your son is? You know what's sad? Why is it when a child loses its life, you always see the mom out there being consoled? You always see the mom out there. And that's a travesty too, because when you only see the mom, you also see that the mom didn't have a relationship with the dad, especially if it was a boy. I got no cold cards on that. If you always put the child first, why the daddy ain't there? Don't allow your pride and ego to destroy your life, or your children's life. Why do you think generation curses occur? Because they're real. The devil is real. You do understand that, right? Demons got to stay employed, y'all. You don't believe me? What about that last disappointment you went through? You still feeling it. Why? God wasn't in there. You keep telling yourself otherwise. You keep listening to your friends that don't have no best interest for you at all. Why? Because it's right in front of your face and you can't see it. Why? Because you refuse to have a relationship with yourself. You refuse to own your life back. You can't have that unless you have connection with God. Don't you understand that? He's the key to your happiness. You do understand, until you have a transparent life from your heart, you ain't required to have a relationship with the person outside the door. If they don't have a relationship with God first, they'll never have a relationship with you. They'll never see your worth. Like they say, you're just something to do. You don't believe me? Look at them stars that you got. What about that? Was God in that? No. That was you. You chose that. So you can't control your pain. It's called discernment. Do you use your discernment? Do you? Or do you turn around and do the opposite and say, oh, I'm going to do whatever I want? So when you turn around and take a position to do whatever I want, why don't you have that same zeal when you go through your pain? That'd be too logical now, wouldn't it? No. You're going to take an L. You ain't supposed to take an L. Because this ain't your life. Your life is better, but you can't see it. And the worst thing you want to do is end up being that old person. They got nobody in their life. Nobody want to have nothing to do with them. Why? Because they're prideful. They're arrogant. And God forbid, they have no integrity. Lie for no damn reason. That's a payoff for having secrets. You know that, right? Every time you hold on to that secret, it robs you of your joy. But think about it. If you gotta have a secret, you're basically saying, I choose to do whatever I want to do behind closed doors. Well, why don't you have the same energy that you do behind closed doors out in public? Somebody says, it's none of your damn business, but you the one over there feeling the pain, right? Come on, you don't see the commonality in that? You don't see what's being revealed? Hey. This one song has every example that you need for your life. Listen to, I see why they gave her them damn Grammys, because the lyrical content was speaking truth. You ain't feeling nobody. What? A gem, a diamond. Listen to this. What? And she made that win. She was talking about this almost 15 years ago. Represented outside your door today. Why is that? Because it's the truth. It's the truth. She was talking about your self-worth, respecting yourself. Now, not everybody's supposed to know your story, Not everybody's supposed to walk with you. Not everybody's supposed to hear you breathe. Why are you crying in your car? Why are you crying in your car? Huh? That's your pride that puts you behind that steering wheel. You gotta go somewhere where nobody knows you, but guess what? You running from yourself. You running from yourself. You burning gas. Hmm? But see, where's your family at on that? Where's the people that are supposed to be unconditionally loving you? Huh? Because the people that have your best interest, that want you to be happy, will catch every tear before they fall. You know why? Because you ain't gonna shed no tears unless they're tears of joy. But society don't give a damn. They don't care. It's not their responsibility to care. What you put out is what you get back, y'all. Don't you see it? Come on. And now that it's across the board, the veils come off, y'all. You can't turn around and blame it on a group. It's mankind. Only thing that breaks the reality of what is shown is the decimal. Why do you think Biggie wrote more money, more problems? Because you're a human being. You're a spiritual being first. But you can turn around and get behind that ride and look all cute, look all like you got it going on, but inside you broken. You're so insecure about yourself, you don't even know where you're headed. Don't you realize the only person that you are accountable for is that person in the mirror with them beautiful eyes and pearly whites? That's who you owe it to. So how can you call yourself strong if you ain't loving you? Huh? Huh? Can you honestly say that person will have your best interest the rest of your days? Do you know? Because if you can't answer that, you're at risk. But let me tell you something. If you take anything I have conveyed in my videos, just know, you deserve the life of your dreams. Well, your dreams have a price. You're going to have to put the work in. Sometimes you're going to be by yourself. But that's not a punishment, y'all. That's called preparation. That's also what reveals your purpose. Because think of it. Like I always use the analogy of the diamond. Before that diamond can give its first luster or shine to the world, it is formed out of coal. It is buried within. And before it can be revealed, it's got to go through transformation. That's the same thing when it comes to your life. You take your development as a child to your adulthood. The mindset that you have now should not be the mindset that you had 5 years ago. It shouldn't be the same mindset that you had last year. The things that you're doing now should have been decisions that you made last year. Do you know who you are? Or are you allowing them to define who you are? How about what you see? Don't you understand the first form of betrayal is the moment that you decide not to see your worth? Huh? Meanwhile, you're trying so hard to keep it together. But don't you realize when you're at peace, you ain't got to hide. You just got to show. Because you're being spiritual being. Come on now. Kings. What do I always say? You got more riding on you than you think. Your definition of manhood is not found between your legs or what is found in your wallet, brother. It's your last name. So the decisions you make, it's your elders that set that path. or lack thereof. Because Uncle Rob decided not to live his life, does that mean that you're supposed to do the same? No, no. And guess what? Sometimes you're going to make decisions that are not popular. That's okay. But if it brings the best you out, don't worry. It's not your responsibility for them to change their mind. It is your responsibility to find yours. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Let me tell you something, kings. Real men don't wear their wealth. We invest it. And when the work is done, guess what? The harvest comes. You ain't got to say a word because it is also your actions. And that's why it is also said, you judge a person by their actions, not by what comes from their mouth. And when a person shows you who they are, you better believe it. They'll sidestep a whole lot of pain, a whole lot of wasted time, and guess what, money? But if you decide today that you deserve to have the life of your dreams, no matter what you're going through, open up your heart, have that conversation with God. He's waiting on you. It's not his responsibility to come get you. He created you. Mm-hmm. Why do you think you got them God-given talents? Mm-hmm. Natural. Why? Because those are going to be the tools needed for the world to be whole. Why? It's you. Hope you guys have a blessed week. Keep loving yourself. Place God first in everything you do. You can't go wrong. Because guess what? He protects you from the things you don't know, things you don't understand, and things you can't see. But guess what? He said it best. You do not have because you have not asked. But guess what? Maybe the reason they're not there, this is for somebody, because there's something that they haven't revealed. But you know what? How God does? He loves you so much. All things hidden will be revealed. All things unseen will be also. All things hidden will be revealed. All things unspoken will be spoken. All things lost will be found, and all things broken will be made new. How about them social bridges, y'all? You do understand? See, society wants you to believe that when you burn a bridge, it's burned forever. Maybe sometimes you got to burn those bridges so you can build a new one that will stand the test of time. It starts when you decide to love you. Have a great week, y'all. Love to hear from you. Bye-bye.